Live from the hippest spot online, you've arrived at the Pop Culture Juke Joint, the only weekly podcast you'll need for intelligent showbiz chats. Located just up the street from the Peach Pit and down that dark, damp alley behind Fonzie's Garage, you'll find former newsman and current hard-boiled crime writer Anthony Venutolo, chatting with guests about everything from old-school classics to new-school staples. So head up to the bar, grab a drink, and settle in here at the Pop Culture Juke Joint. Now, your host, Anthony Venutolo.
Welcome to another episode of the Pop Culture Juke Joint, where each episode we take one deep dive into a particular aspect of pop culture. And tonight is the night co-host Jack Lugo and I have been waiting for. We're going to dive into the Super Bowl commercials of 2018, Super Bowl 52, right, Jack?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I know we haven't been around for a while. Life sort of
Jack,
gets in the way.
Oh my God, Jack. It feels like it's been forever, and I was starting to feel guilty. Only because, I've been doing a lot of podcasting at my job. We have 3 podcasts going up, and I'm involved heavily with 2 of them. And then you come home at night, and then you just crash. So, life takes over, right?
Yeah. I mean, work takes priority, of course.
Yeah, but we know what? We are back, and we are going to talk about the commercials. The best, the worst, the weird. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the halftime show. And some of the great trailers that we saw tonight, or maybe not so great, as you kind of hinted on social media during the game. What do you say we get right back into it? What do you say?
Let's get into this. So you want to start with your list?
Yeah, I have a really long list here, but I suspect I'm not going to be talking about everything on here. Some of the instead of me saying that this is the best list, I'm gonna talk about the ads that really kind of worked. There were a lot of ads for me tonight that did work, and as always, these spots are like trying to tug at our heartstrings. And I've told you this, I think last year. I am a complete sucker for that kind of stuff. Like if you just tug at my heartstrings a little bit, like I'm in. Like I'll give you a best. But I do think Toyota did it really good this year. They did it right up top with their commercial featuring gold Olympic athlete Lauren. Now I'm going to butcher her name, but her name is Wollstonecraft. And you probably remember it was
was it the odds of her winning a gold medal?
Yes. Because she didn't have legs or use of her legs, and they showed a lot of footage of her. I think when she was a baby, kind of like walking and running and doing this and doing that, and it's about overcoming adversity and who knew that Toyota dealt with like prosthetics and robotics and things like that. But they had a commercial later on similar, and I don't know if I wrote that down. They had a similar commercial about like all the work they're doing in like robotics and stuff, and it really worked. I mean, I really like those ads.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were involved in that. And obviously, I expected to see an ad and maybe like an inspirational attempt at an inspirational ad, but I didn't know it would be this effective. So yeah, I have to agree with you that those Toyota ads, they were inspirational. I think that's what they were going for, and obviously, this is all leading up to the Olympics coverage starting next week, I don't think they could have done a better job.
Good stuff. Now, there was a commercial. Well, all right. You know what? Right before I get to that, we have to talk about that Danny DeVito M&M's commercial. Right? I mean, like, I'm not a fan of like huge like celebrity cameo commercials because I think they could be either like really cheap or easy, but this one was just hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, he kind of looks like an M&M, right?
Yeah, he kind of does. I mean, he's done other things. Like I could have sworn he did the Snickers bar commercial a while back, didn't he? Or
yeah, he might have. That's ringing a bell. Yeah. I really thought that worked big time. And Sprint had a commercial in the first half. It looked like some sort of weird Westworld artificial intelligence kind of commercial.
Yeah, and I guess the whole point is like if you like not switching to Sprint, these AI people goof on the guy, and, and I thought that was funny.
It was funny, and especially when the little robot comes in at the end and says, "You got a dumb face." I think that was funny. Like that, like it kind of worked. That worked for me. What also worked for me were the Wendy's ads calling out McDonald's.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that between Wendy's and then also E-Trade. Got I mean, they kind of called out Geico and the what's her name, Flo.
Yeah, now wait a minute. Now I thought those commercials were funny too, but I didn't put them on my list because I think they were local commercials.
Oh, okay.
Usually in the halftime, they go to the local ads, but that was funny. Those commercials were funny.
Yeah.
But Wendy's calling out McDonald's was hilarious, and they continue to do it on Twitter. They were doing it on Twitter too.
They've been doing that on Twitter. I mean, I know that that whole thing has been going on for a while on Twitter, and it's entertaining, and I mean, I guess it was funny. I mean, whenever you see something like that, where it's like usually you try not to really mention your competitor, and even if
right.
So I gotta give them kudos for that one.
Well, yeah, it's kind of ballsy. Yeah. I mean, like even where I work, we try not to talk about our competitors per se because we just don't do that. But when Wendy's just calls out McDonald's, man, that's just completely ballsy, and I love it. We also have to talk about Tide.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little tired of the Tide commercial, but I guess that was the whole point.
You got tired,
yeah.
Right? Well, no, this kind of goes to like the Wendy's ad a little bit. I mean, all right, we watch these commercials every year, and we see them year in, year out. I mean, hundreds of ads. And what I liked about the Tide commercials was that they were really just poking fun at this whole thing.
Yeah, they were. They were.
And how many times did you watch one of those Tide ads where you thought it was a different ad?
Yeah.
You were like, right? What is this?
Yeah, the last one where the kind of elderly people were playing tennis and their clothes are really bright, but they don't get to that until, a few seconds in. And yeah, they did that a number of times where they kind of goof on some of the thematic kind of tropes of commercials.
They goofed on the Old Spice guy from a couple years ago. They goofed on the Mr. Clean ad where like the horny housewife was cleaning and she's watching Mr. Clean. When I saw this, I was like, all right, they're getting it's very tongue in cheek, and I have to give them points for that, props. Now, if I could read my notes here.
Was the Bud Light commercial kind of a dud? I mean,
yes, it was a dud.
Bud Night.
Yes, awful. Let me tell you, as much as I love Budweiser commercials, I hate Bud Light commercials.
Yeah, I mean, well, they could be entertaining at times, but yeah, this whole series with the dilly, I think has run its course.
I mean, like enough is enough. I mean, I guess they're just trying to appeal to I'm not going to say lowest common because just like dudes that drink Bud Light. I mean, you're not going after highbrow humor or whatever. You got to be funny or goofy or bombastic in some kind of way. So yeah, I really wasn't into that commercial, and that in fact did make my worst list. That's not a shock. What I did I liked the commercial that for Rocket Mortgage with Kai or Peele or which one of those dudes is Key and Peele.
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele, but it was only one of them. No. But he was in the commercial, kind of like explaining everything that was happening in the commercial. Because we go through life, speaking in acronyms and, so he was kind of like translating what this stuff meant in plain English.
Oh, yeah. And I thought and there was a series of things like right before they speak to the mortgage guy of like, okay, this is what this person really means. Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever.
I thought that was kind of good, kind of interesting, and kind of was a little outside the box. I dug that. Is there anything that particularly stuck out for you?
Well, other than the trailers, I would have to say the Jeff Goldblum one, which is, I mean, it's not technically a trailer.
Yes.
There was a Jurassic World trailer, but Jeff
Yes.
Goldblum did an ad for Jeep Rubicon, and it incorporated
I agree.
some of the Jurassic Park elements, but it was it was really an ad for Jeep.
And here's the thing about that. First of all, Jeep had more than a couple commercials, and I thought they were really good. I've never been a huge fan of Jeep, but I did write down both of their commercials tonight. I thought the Jeff Goldblum ad was kind of funny, especially in a year where we're getting another Jurassic Park movie, and one that he's kind of in a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
That said, I will say it might have been a tad confusing to some people.
Yeah, I think most people thought this was a second Jurassic World trailer, and it was really a Jeep ad.
I mean, could you imagine? Like you're watching the game. It's some hoity-toity ritzy party. The sound is off, or you're in a bar that's loud or whatever, and you're just seeing like Jeff Goldblum being chased by another dinosaur, but he's like old Jeff Goldblum with like the cool suit and the glasses. Like, I just think that because I know I would have looked at it and said, "What's going on here?" And I do like that other Jeep commercial where it was at the end of the game. I was thinking the third or fourth quarter where this Jeep Rubicon, I guess, just kind of comes through the water and it goes up the side of a mountain. But like, I was like, damn, man, like I have like a crossover SUV and I know mine would just tip over. Yeah. It would just roll down the hill. But that Jeep took it. I liked the Alexa commercial.
Oh yeah, where they have the celebrities do the Alexa voice. I know they've been previewing that one, but it was a different one that aired tonight. It was one that aired previously with Gordon Ramsay.
Well, he was in it.
Okay.
He was in this one. He was in it. It was a long commercial. It was like a minute or a minute and a half or something, but it was really funny. Yeah. I thought it was that really worked. I also liked the Budweiser commercial. Now, before I get ahead of myself, there was a couple beer commercials that touted water tonight. It was Budweiser and Stella Artois, which I think fell a little flat. The Budweiser ad really showed what Anheuser-Busch was doing for, the victims of disasters and how, they made water and shipped water and they changed, whatever lines in the plant and blah, 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 and the labels, and they rallied to get as much water out as possible. I liked that ad. It was very...
It was tasteful, yeah.
Yeah, it was tasteful, but like the whole getting Matt Damon to talk about if you buy a chalice and we'll give X amount of money to give X amount of water to, like, it lost me. It really did. I swear to God. It was a weird ad.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it belonged. I mean, you get what they were trying to do, but it kind of did fall flat. I thought Budweiser was more effective with it.
Look, props for probably throwing tons of money at Matt Damon and, paying $5 million to get your spot on the air and, for the work that you want to do, but it just felt weird, man. So that just kind of left me a little cold. Let me see in my notes here if there's anything else that particularly stood out before I get to my worst list. No, I think that's probably it. I mean,
what? Peter Dinklage and Morgan Freeman. What do you think of that?
My friend, I have a lot to say about that.
Okay.
So let's just get right on with it. And I'm going to go to my worst list. Because let me just say, I hate ads like that.
Yeah, well, I don't think Doritos had one last year. Remember, I think we talked about that.
Did they sit last year out? Because they usually have 4 or 5, and they have contests, and budding filmmakers will make their Doritos spot. And here's the thing: I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to do like a rap battle and, all this other stuff.
Yeah, mixing with the Game of Thrones references and,
Exactly. Yeah. And funny enough, I thought that the Mountain Dew Ice version with Morgan Freeman worked for me a little bit better. I don't know why. It just did, with Missy Elliott and stuff. But I don't know, man. Like the whole thing was just. I'm sure it's going to be on tons of people's best lists tomorrow. It's not on mine. I just thought it was lame. And what are they trying to do? Like buy Mountain Dew Ice, get Doritos Blaze. It's a good combination. Like,
I guess because of the
there?
time, because the Doritos Blaze, it's just spicy hot, and then obviously you can, chase it with the Mountain Dew Ice. It's not something I would recommend, by the way.
Yeah, well,
it's not something
exactly.
that I would look forward to doing.
My God, it's like heart attack in a can and a bottle. I mean, my God, Jesus. I will say that we already mentioned the Bud Night commercial. I
was looking forward to it because the other ones that have aired over the last few months or whatever. For like a 10-second spot, while you're watching a TV show, they're fine. But this one was kind of a letdown.
Big letdown.
Yeah.
I will say, and I think I say it every year. I don't get the avocados Mexico commercial. I don't get him. I don't get the commercials. The whole thing with the Biodome with Chris Elliott. Just
that one I kind of chuckled at.
You chuckled.
I chuckled at it. They have all this avocado and obviously guacamole and all that stuff. And they don't have the chips and they're stuck in the Biodome and so they.
But then they ran out of Wi-Fi and that became the whole catastrophe.
Yeah.
Like then they were off.
I see what you're saying, but I did kind of chuckle at it. I don't think it was brilliant by any stretch of the imagination. But.
It was definitely better than the Colbert one from last year or a couple years ago where he was all green and whatever. So, all right, maybe I'll give that one a pass. Oh God, I hated this ad from the second I saw it online a week or 9 days ago. The Australia tourism ad. I have to be honest, I hated that.
That went too long. Yeah. that was, because at no point are you saying to yourself that they're going to make a Son of Crocodile Dundee with what's it,
Chris Hemsworth.
With Chris
Hemsworth and Danny McBride.
And Danny McBride. Yeah. No, yeah, it just, I guess they were trying to set it up as you're seeing another trailer, and of course that you're not, and it takes them so long to just get to the punchline.
Oh God! And here's the thing, man. I am not a fan of Danny McBride. Never have been. Never will be. He kind of plays Danny McBride and everything. And when I saw the fake trailer at first, I have to admit, I fell for it just like everyone else. I was like, wait a minute, that's just that's stupid. That's stupid enough that they would actually get Danny McBride to play a Spawn of Dundee somehow, whatever, some illegitimate kid or whatever. And I fell for it. And then when I found out it was a Super Bowl ad, I was like, oh, great, I'm going to hate that even more. Okay.
I could see that idea being thrown around in a pitch meeting.
Without a doubt. So that didn't work for me. I'm not going to say this is a worst commercial, but the Chris Pratt Michelob commercials, I just wasted effort, wasted money. I don't think Chris Pratt is going to help them sell more Michelob. I don't think if Michelob stole a recipe from Sam Adams, that would sell more Michelob. So I don't think anything can help Michelob. So sorry, Michelob. Here's a commercial that I just don't get. The Persol, the Pro Clean.
Yeah.
They have this, and you're gonna probably have something to say about this. They have this Bond guy that they use every year. They cart this guy out every year,
and it never lands.
Never lands. I don't know why they're sticking with this campaigin.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
It's a campaign that they should have just forgotten about. After the first time,
this is years old. This isn't just a year old. It's years old. Okay, so that thing, they need to go back to their drawing board on that thing, because I just don't goddamn get it. Another ad that I just, the spot for Wix with Rhett and Link. They were making their own website. Now, maybe that would mean something to me if I freaking knew who Rhett and Link were.
I don't know who they are either.
I'm guessing they must be YouTube celebrities. I guess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean that just I just kind of glanced over that one. I mean, I don't even remember that ad that well.
Yeah, and it just pissed me off because I'm like, either I'm like starting to get old and not know who these people are, but like it just pissed me off. I'm like, all right, you're spending $5 million for a spot. How about you just like have like, I know my mother wouldn't know who they were. Like, who are these people? Who are they? And because I had to think about it, and they wouldn't really tell me, it got on my worst list. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works for me. I have no you know what? I have no patience anymore.
How about the Keanu Reeves, there was a Squarespace ad. Did that make your worst list?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it didn't make my worst list. We have another list to go over, and it's my weird list. Okay. So I will, right before we get to my weird list, I do want to talk about that Groupon commercial that starred Tiffany Haddish. I think this might have been Groupon's first Super Bowl commercial. I think it might have.
Yeah, I don't remember them being around for other ones.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think this was fell a little flat to me. You know, about the billionaire who hates small business and the football guys that go there to kick the football in his groin. I don't know, dude. It was just. I mean, you know, there are rooms of ad people, okay, that bounce ideas off of one another. And if this is the best they can come up with, you know, that's a problem.
Yeah, I sometimes you just have to wonder what the audience they thought was, you know, who they thought they were going to reach with this kind of ad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, all right, well, let's go on to the weird. Let's go on to the weird list.
So you mentioned the Keanu Reeves one.
Yes. Now, there's not that many on the list, but the weird ones that made it here are super fucking weird.
Yeah.
Let's get right to the Keanu ad for Squarespace. I don't know. I don't get it. He was standing on top of his motorcycle, riding it like a skateboard. Did I miss some sort of like weird significance to that? Like what was going on with that?
It was meant to be somewhat, yeah, and it was for Squarespace. You would think that they would have come up with something better than that. But yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to convey with that. I mean, he's just standing, and obviously, you know, he's on a green screen. It's all special effects, and you know, so he's not. What's the point of it? It's like
I don't know. Like that's why I asked you. I think I might have missed it. Like did he do that in a movie or something? Like I don't know. So. Sorry. So yeah. So that made the weird list for me. Yeah. Another ad that made the weird list for me was this was a really weird commercial. It was the Diet Coke commercial for Twisted Mango.
Twisted Mango, and she's dancing, and you know, they're just playing on the word that the fact that the word twist is in the thing.
But it was just weird because she came off like super weird.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like she was dressed kind of, I don't know, everything about the ad was weird. And I'm like,
they're trying to push this new line of Diet Coke products. And I know, we were going to talk about if they did it, but they didn't do a Coke sugar-free commercial, which I'm not sure why. I mean, we know Pepsi obviously is the main sponsor for the halftime show, but obviously Coke did have some ads. It's just, that new line of, the blended Coke beverages.
Yeah, the blended, like the different flavors, almost like kind of like a seltzery version of Coke, but like light, I don't know, but the Twisted Mango, she was just, dude, the commercial was just weird. I mean, like, I urge people to go and look at that commercial. That was a Super Bowl commercial. I mean, come on now. Like, something's off.
Yeah.
Another commercial, there's three more on my weird list, and they were all equally weird. The commercial for Kia Stinger, where
with Steven Tyler?
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, here's the thing. the Kia Stinger is a new car that Kia is putting out. It's kind of like a entry-level large luxury car, okay? And I say entry-level because it's cheap for a luxury car, but it's new and it's being very well reviewed.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stinger already out of the gate is doing well. Like, it's really being well received in by the automotive press. Okay, so they got this great car, and they're like, okay, how are we going to sell it? We're going to get Steven Tyler. Okay, for some reason, people keep hiring this guy for Super Bowl commercials, and I don't get why. Okay, that's not neither here nor there. Okay, so we're gonna get Steven Tyler, and we're gonna have him drive our car backwards,
and then he's gonna de-age and get younger.
He's gonna de-age, and we're gonna put him through the same machine that they put like Robert Downey Jr. in for the Marvel movie to make him look like young Robert Downey Jr. I think it was Ant-Man or something.
Yeah.
And he's gonna come out, and he's gonna look like young Steven Tyler. But we're going to put a little bit of Billy Zane in there to make him look a little Billy Zane-like. Okay? Just like weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, actually, it reminded me of, because I recently, I'm a big Bond fan, and I recently went down the rabbit hole of looking at these Japanese tire commercials that Sean Connery did in the 70s and 80s. And there's one just like that where he's driving a car, and as he's driving, he gets younger. And finally, when he arrives at his destination, you see, young Sean Connery, the way he looked when he played Bond, and and there are a few different ads, similar to that he did, and I'm like, why? Did you really need the money?
Exactly. This was just a weird ad, this Kia ad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been like cool, directed cool and looked good, but it was just a weird ad. Okay. The next ad I found was super weird. And you saw like the little vignettes throughout the entire game was, the NFL spot with Eli Manning.
Yeah, I had no idea what that's about, and I'm a Giants fan, and I when I saw the first one, I thought, did I miss something? Was there another ad that came before this that that explains this? It was
awful. And they choreographed it, of course, to Dirty Dancing. And it was really choreographed. They really followed like the way the real dance went in the movie. They really did. I've seen that movie enough to know. And like that whole thing was just goddamn weird. Okay. All right. My last weird spot. Okay. Wasn't necessarily, the spot itself wasn't weird. Just like the reason why we need the ad is weird. And it was an ad for Scientology.
Yeah, I kind of ignored that one.
Yeah. Now they've done this before.
Yeah, they have.
They've done this before, and they keep buying Super Bowl commercials. I don't understand why. I mean, I think the fork is already in Scientology as far as like bad press is concerned. You have to be under a rock not to know that Scientology is just into some weird
I guess
stuff.
they're hoping to reach that one person that's under a rock, or that hasn't heard any of the negative news stories.
Oh my God!
But they've done this. Yeah, there was one last year too, and probably I think the year before that as well.
Yeah, they pop up every now and then. It was just like, what? Scientology? What? That's crazy. Let's talk a little bit about some of the trailers. We got a bunch of trailers.
We did, yeah.
And TV trailers too. We got a bunch of TV and movie trailers.
Well, the first, let's get this one out of the way. Solo. I was underwhelmed. I didn't do anything for me whatsoever.
Yeah.
I know it's just a teaser, and people will say, when the full trailer comes out, you're going to be excited. I'm not going to be excited.
No, I don't know, man. I agree. I don't want to agree with you, but I think I'm inclined to agree. I mean, the things that we've heard so far about that movie are not good. I mean, it's had like awful behind the scenes problems. Of course, their two directors were essentially fired. it was a directing team. It didn't have two directors. It was they were co-directors, and they were just basically asked to just step down.
Yeah, they were let go, and then Ron Howard got the job. And Ron Howard, I mean, I have nothing against Ron Howard, but I just don't think he's the right person to really helm a Star Wars movie.
Not at all. And you know what? I think Ron Howard is a great director.
Yeah.
But the guy can't direct a studio movie. I don't care what anybody says. And when I say a studio movie, I mean a franchise movie.
Right.
I mean, look at those Angels and Demons.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code movies.
I mean, I saw them all. The last one was unwatchable. They're just not compelling movies. They're not fun. Okay, but the guy's a great director. He just can't direct big budget action franchises. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with Solo. I hope I am wrong, because I really want to love that movie.
Oh yeah, we all do. I mean, we loved Rogue One. I mean, so yeah, we were when we found out that they were doing this Han Solo origin movie. Of course, you can't help but be excited about it. But all the news stories that have come out about it, and then this footage that we've seen so far, there's really nothing that really grabs me.
And not to mention, I hear awful things about Aaron. I think his name's Aaron something, but his performance was really subpar as Han Solo. Like, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with getting the right cast, and it just seems like that was a misfire from the very beginning.
Exactly. Let's talk about the next, really for me and probably for you, big budget action film, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, this is one I'm really excited about. I'm, as a Bond fan, I kind of, I love all the kind of spy genre movies, and I'm a big fan of the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies. I think that's the one thing that he keeps doing consistently well. Even if his other movies, I know The Mummy bombed and a few other things bombed. I haven't seen American Made. I heard that's supposed to be somewhat good, but yeah, the Mission Impossible movies are the one thing that he kind of consistently gets right. And the trailer, they aired like a short trailer on during the commercials, and then you could go online and watch the full trailer. And I'm excited. I mean, a lot of the stunts, kind of remind me of some of the classic Bond stunts, but except he's the one doing them. And I guess that's part of the added appeal, is that you see his face and you know that he's actually there performing the stunt, and that does something. I mean, in the last film, he was hanging off the side of a plane, and of course we've seen that in other movies, but we always know it's a stunt double actually doing the stunt, whereas in the Mission Impossible movies he tries to do as much as possible. And I always look forward to checking those out.
He's going to kill himself one day.
Well, he's already injured himself on this movie. Yeah, he broke his ankle or something.
I'm like, dude, just get the guy to do the stunt for you. You don't need to do it, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
I guess that's the sort of what the appeal of this franchise is for now that he's kind of taken over it. And he's had it for control of it for a long time now, obviously.
Yeah, man. As soon as I start hearing that music, I'm in. Like, I love the music. I love the whole vibe. So I'm really stoked for that. The next movie that really kind of looked not good, but good for me, because I'm kind of forgiving.
Yeah.
Was Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson. No, really. Like, first of all, I am a sucker for just some stupid action movie. Yeah. Okay. And he makes, I'm not going to say he makes high art, but he makes a lot of stupid action movies, but I like him. I must have watched San Andreas 3 times.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I guess I still haven't seen. I want to see Jumanji. I didn't get to see.
I just saw it yesterday with my kid.
How was that?
I thought it was super hilarious. And super action packed. I thought it was really good. I thought Jack Black was awesome. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Kevin Hart was Kevin Hart. It lives exactly how you think it would be.
Yeah, my son wants to see it too.
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, because I showed my son the original movie about a month or so ago, and he's been wanting to see the remake, but I told him we'll wait till it comes on DVD or whatever. But yeah, I want to see that. I mean, so yeah, I get he kind of has a little niche that you kind of if you're in the mood for like a popcorn action flick, you could put on one of his films and be entertained.
He's got like no legs or one leg or whatever in this one, and he's going to be jumping all over the place. That's going to be awesome, and I want to see that. So I'm in. The other film that I'm really stoked to see is the Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah. That looks good.
And we got a bigger trailer. We got to see more of like who's going to be in it. Props to Disney and Marvel, man, for getting all of these guys together, like from every one of their movies.
Yeah, you and I always talk about it. Like Marvel and Disney sort of got their act together. They know how to market their films, and then when a DC movie comes out, we kind of geez,
because they shit the bed every time, and like Marvel's over there doing it like it's like effortless. Like they have like what 2 or 3 movies coming out a year. These superheroes.
Yeah.
And I think, like, when they sign these guys, they're like, all right, we're going to give you your own movie, but you got to sign your life away for, like, 8 years because you're going to be in every other Marvel movie.
Right.
And they're like, okay, where? Like, where do I sign? So I'm stoked for Infinity War. That's one that looked really interesting. Let's talk about...
do you want to talk about Jurassic World?
Oh, yeah, we could talk about Jurassic World. More of the same.
Yeah, we've seen a trailer for it already. I guess this is kind of like a new trailer. Not much new footage, really, but it was kind of...
Well, there was a lot of stuff going on in a house in this trailer, like stuff like inside of a house with like a kid, and like I don't remember seeing that in like the first trailer.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Look, if you're into the whole Jurassic Park thing, I'd say then maybe you're excited for this. Yeah, it's kind of awesome, I guess. I don't feel strong one way or the other about it. I'm sure I'm going to see it at some point. I'm sure my kid's going to want to see it, so I'm going to be dragged to it. So.
I'm looking forward to
down,
it.
I
always, when they come out, I always go to see them. It remains to be seen. I really liked the last one, the first Jurassic World that they made, and then obviously they tied it all together with the original movie. And there's we don't know how much of Jeff Goldblum we're going to get. I guess that's the main question is he, because the footage that we've seen of him, you don't really get a sense of him really. He could be in the movie quite a bit, or he could just be in a couple scenes.
I think he's just gonna be in that one scene. That's what I think. That's what I think. But hey, what did you make of that trailer or commercial for that Amazon series Castle Rock?
I heard about this a while back. I wasn't sure when it was coming out, and then they sure enough, they just dropped the trailer. I'm not sure if they're taking, because I know Amazon did a similar thing with the stories of Philip K. Dick, where I think some of the episodes, I haven't watched but I think some of the episodes are based on short stories. I'm not sure what stories are they're from Stephen King. Yeah, because you saw a reference to Shawshank, but obviously they're not doing Shawshank Redemption. So and obviously Castle Rock is mentioned in several of the in many Stephen King novels. So we don't know which, if it's going to be if they're going to take it from specific source material that Stephen King's written, or if this is going to be a new series kind of inspired by the stories of Stephen King. I wasn't sure. I mean, I would have to kind of look it up, but I'm intrigued. I mean, I definitely want to check it out.
I'm kind of curious as to why he seemed to jump ship. I mean, he's been at Netflix for a couple different properties now, and now this seemingly Stephen King heavy produced, inspired, written by, or whatever is now on Amazon Prime. So
Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Hulu. Sorry, Hulu.
Yeah, well, Hulu did 11/22. 60.
Yes.
That was the James Franco one. The assassination of JFK. He goes back to prevent it.
Right. Okay.
So he has done a previous project with Hulu. And that one was okay. The book was so much better than, and usually that is the case with Stephen King properties, is that the book is always so much better than what could come up with. But he's been on a bit of a roll. Obviously, the It movie was huge last year.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the remake. It got so much right. I mean, there was still some flaws in it, but for the most part, these recent Stephen King adaptations have been knocking it out of the park.
And they're remaking Pet Sematary, so that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be good too.
So are they currently shooting the second part to It right now?
I don't think so. I think they are. They might be, but I don't think I've heard anything about casting. And that was the big conversation when that first part came out, is who they're going to cast. And I haven't heard a thing about that.
How can they not cast Amy Adams as that redheaded
as
girl?
Beverly Marsh? I think that's
How is that?
That's been the main rumor, but nothing's been confirmed yet. I know, there was talk of like Bill Hader playing Richie Tozier, and they've been casting suggestions and rumors, but nothing solid has really been announced about that second part.
Okay. Another series that looked intriguing and funny to me at the same time was Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. Jonathan Krasinski is not going to be happy until he proves to the entire waking world that he can be an action hero that we can count on.
That one did not really grab me as much as I know it's another kind of spy genre thing, but it wasn't that. I mean,
look. They need to stop trying to make Jack Ryan happen, because
and it hasn't worked. Ever since Ben Affleck.
We've done this now since Ben Affleck. Since Ben Affleck, we've had this is the second one. We've had Chris Pine played him, and now Jonathan Krasinski. I mean, this is like the fifth or sixth guy that's played Jack Ryan in the last 20 something years. I mean, it started with Alec Baldwin. But enough. Okay, we get it. Look, if this doesn't work, I never want to hear Jack Ryan ever again.
You're going to hear Jack Ryan a few more times, even if this doesn't work.
I'm sure. I'm sure like a comic book or Jack Ryan, the college years.
The animated series.
The Westworld spot, we really didn't get much out of that, did we?
Yeah, and I went online to see if maybe there was a full trailer. But it was the same one. It doesn't. I mean, obviously they're trying to keep a lot under wraps with the nature of that show. As you know, I think that was the very first podcast we did, was the finale of Westworld. And with the nature of that show, there's always something secret. There's always a secret plot twist, or different characters aren't who they say they are. And I don't know if we'll get a lot of that, because we kind of know a lot of was revealed in the first season, but you kind of get the sense that they're trying to keep as much under the wraps as possible.
Right. And I'd say the last trailer or commercial that I'm excited for is the USA series Unsolved.
Oh yeah, Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah, man. Now I just watched the Tupac movie that was on HBO, All Eyes on Me.
Oh, how was that?
I liked it. I mean, I'm a sucker for that stuff, man. I thought the kid that played Tupac was amazing. I think the guy that played Suge Knight was a little off the mark. The guy that played Suge Knight in Straight Outta Compton a couple years ago, that guy was terrifying.
Yeah, that guy. That guy really got
absolutely terrifying. This guy, I don't know. He seemed a little off the mark for me. The film was good, but I'm really looking forward to Unsolved, because there's literally a bunch of different theories as to who killed Tupac. So I'm excited. That's the bulk of my notes. I mean, we can keep going on, but I know you want to watch the crime.
Yeah, I have to thank my wife, because before we talked about doing this, she was when we found out that This Is Us is going to be doing their very special episode after the Super Bowl. She was like, "Oh, okay, we got to watch the Super Bowl, then we're going to watch This Is Us right away." And then of course I told her I'm going to do this podcast, and she's like,
"What?"
But then I kind of convinced her. I talked her down. I was like, as soon
she's taking a nap. She's
taking a nap, and then as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go wake her up, and we can watch the episode.
Well, if it's any consolation, it's on mute on my TV right now, and I have no idea what's
you're
going
not crying just from having it on.
I'm not crying. And I could totally mess with you by like telling you something that's going on the screen that isn't, that might be, that isn't. So who the hell knows?
Yeah, that's kind of our show that we all have our shows that we watch with our spouses and shows that we watch alone. And that's kind of one of the shows that we watch together. And, it's been a pretty good season. I mean, Sylvester Stallone was on earlier on this season. So, I've enjoyed, This Is Us, watching it this season. I thought it's been pretty strong.
Well, before I let you go to watch the Crying Show, give me your thoughts real quick on what you thought of Justin Timberlake.
I thought it was okay. I thought last year Lady Gaga really, really did a great job, and this one was kind of underwhelming. It kind of felt mediocre. I mean, and there was a lot of controversy leading up to it because there was talk of doing the Prince hologram, and then when the family came out and said they don't want that to happen, there was some rumors that he was going to have a Michael Jackson hologram, which we all know, that's been kind of done before, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was done for something like the Super Bowl, because
but it made sense. It was done in Minneapolis. I mean, and when the whole town went purple, or the downtown. I mean, did they really do that? Did they coordinate that?
I don't think. I think that was a CGI special effect. Yeah, I don't think they actually. I mean, I thought. I doubt that was real.
Like there weren't like city planners going nuts all last week putting purple lamps in. I mean, who knows? It looks so real. I mean, Yeah,
they got it to look pretty real. Just like with the Lady Gaga thing when she jumped off the top of the stadium. It looked like she jumped off the top of the stadium, and it turns out she didn't. I thought the performance overall was okay. And the little Prince tribute, I thought it didn't really need. I know because of the significance of with Minneapolis and stuff. I guess he wanted to pay tribute, but it didn't really feel like it was all that necessary either. I mean, I guess I could have done either way. If he had left the Prince song out, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. I feel exactly the same way. I saw Justin perform on some awards show a couple years ago. He did like a medley, and that thing took like 15 minutes. That to me was a lot better than what we got. I just think everything felt very rushed and very forced.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I would have rather seen him get together with his NSYNC buddies.
Yeah, there was a conscious decision not to do guest stars. I mean, there's some performers who, obviously, like I think Bruno Mars and other performers have in the past have brought in other guest guest artists to kind of make make it really big. With this one, I guess he just wanted to spotlight his own career, and then he recently had a lot of success with the Trolls movie, and that song from the Trolls movie, and my son loves it. I mean, it's a very family friendly song, and so obviously it made sense for him to end the show with that. I mean, I didn't not like it. I mean, I thought it was, I thought it was okay, but it's not going to be one that we're going to remember years and years later. I mean, there's some Super Bowl performances that we, kind of remember, that will go down in history. This is not one of them.
Bring back the rock and roll guys.
Yeah.
Man, like bring back rock. Maybe Bon Jovi can do it next year.
That would be good.
That'd be a good one.
That would be a good one. I mean, they're being inducted, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it would make sense to do that. I mean, I guess obviously Prince had one of the most memorable Super Bowl.
He had a great
shows.
one.
Yeah,
he had a great one. Bruce's one was great. Because the whole band was playing. All right. Well, Jack, hopefully in a year from now, we'll be talking about Bon Jovi performing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, of course, it'll be someone that it'll go in the total opposite direction, probably. But.
Exactly. I know. So, Jack, all right. I think we've covered all that we can probably cover. We apologize once again for not doing this quite as often as we probably should be, but things take over, and hopefully we'll do this soon for something that's coming back.
Yeah, we can talk Westworld. We can talk. I mean, if you want to talk about that, the Biggie Tupac. What's it called again?
Unsolved.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be up for that too.
All right, cool.
So,
cool.
Yeah, we'll figure something out to come back for you.
All right, and you are on Twitter at
Jack.
Tell everyone.
My Twitter handle is at Jack Lugo 1.
At Jack Lugo 1. All right, Jack. Once again, it's been great. We'll talk to you later.
All right, we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Juke Joint? Then don't forget to tip the barkeep by subscribing and reviewing us on iTunes and Stitcher. Also, for some sizzling noir tales, head on over to Amazon to check out Anthony's hard-boiled fiction, available in print, digital, and audiobook formats. On social media, follow Anthony on Twitter at Anthony Venutolo or like his page on Facebook. For everything else, please visit his webpage at www.anthonyvenutolo.com. We'll see you next week.